All right, just a few little different things I wanted to look at here today when it comes to the NFL. We have Mike Tannenbaum once again suggesting that the Bears would be better off trading Justin Fields and drafting probably Bryce Young at number 1 overall. My conspiracy theory to this is I think ESPN is telling some of these analysts to say certain things that would drum up an argument, that would get more fan engagement via social media, get the clips more viral, things like that. Because I remember Mike Tannenbaum had this narrative like right after the season when it was confirmed the Bears got the number 1 overall pick. If you guys remember, it was kind of shocking they got the number 1 pick considering all Houston had to do was lose. Houston ends up winning. Now it's like, oh, the Bears are at number 1. Maybe they should draft a quarterback. I don't think the Bears will draft a quarterback. It feels like they're committed to Justin Fields, and it makes sense. I mean, with Justin Fields, the Bears, it's the same thing. It's like Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. You've got to give them some weapons to see what they can be. It's just so hard to judge these guys. That's why I think when looking at this list, 5 players who should be traded, DeAndre Hopkins needs to either go to the Giants or the Bears, in my opinion. Hopkins does not have a good contract. He is getting up there in age, shockingly enough. I mean, we remember when DeAndre Hopkins was like 2nd or 3rd year with Houston, but he's a veteran receiver. He's a big receiver. If you are either the Giants, even with the cap hit, if you're either the Giants or the Chicago Bears, you should go out and get DeAndre Hopkins and get your quarterback help. I mean, with what Daniel Jones was working with what Fields was working with, we really don't know if these guys can be franchise quarterbacks. It's impossible to tell. They've got no pass catchers. I guess you could say Darnell Mooney is a good little number 2 receiver, but he was injured for part of the year, and they really didn't let Fields throw at all early in the season. So for DeAndre Hopkins, I want to see if they want to speculate on this. Yeah, he's making $20 million next year. I'm guessing maybe you give up a 3rd rounder for him, maybe a 4th and a 5th or something like that. Arizona is in a horrible spot. People really, I don't know what you do if you're Arizona, because the last thing I heard with Kyler Murray, he might be back like early in the season, which of course is like, what does that mean? So he comes back week 4 ultra rusty? Like, I think Arizona is in a place where you might be better off trying to trade Kyler Murray, sitting him next year, tanking for Caleb Williams, and trading DeAndre Hopkins as well. Like, if I'm Arizona and I can get Will Anderson in this draft, maybe trading down is your best option, but let's just say you get Will Anderson. Like, what do you do with Kyler Murray? I mean, that is such a bad injury for a player of his size. He needs to be able to move and be like a jitterbug in the pocket. And apparently no NFL head coach wanted to take that job because of the contract that Kyler Murray had. And it was so weird because I think they gave Kyler Murray that contract when he had 2 years left on his rookie deal. And that is a strategy that you can do. It's the whole idea of giving Mahomes the contract early, and with everything going up and up, all the salary cap goes up every single year. Now Mahomes is like the 7th highest paid quarterback because you gave him the contract so early. You're not doing Ravens style, let's wait, Cowboys style. We see what they had to pay Dak Prescott because they waited. If you get the contract done earlier, that's kind of the idea behind the speculation of Justin Herbert possibly getting his contract and his massive whatever, $50 million per year contract. I mean, they're just going to keep going up, so you might as well. I mean, we all know Justin Herbert's a franchise quarterback. He's going to cost what he's going to cost. Might as well do it this year and hopefully save some money in the future, as opposed to doing it next year when the salary cap goes up and you'll probably have to pay $4 or $5 million more per year because of its rise. Mike Evans, what do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do? I did see maybe Derek Carr. If I'm Derek Carr, I would be very interested in going to the Bucs or maybe even the Saints. It depends. I mean, Michael Thomas, who knows with his health, but they do have Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara. Although Alvin Kamara was in the news about getting charged for that crime. Mike Evans possibly getting traded. I don't know what his contract looks like. He's still 29. I thought he would have been like 30 or 31. But yeah, Mike, I would be interested if I'm, a team in need of a wide receiver. That is a very good veteran receiver to add to your team as an extremely solid number 2 or like a number 1, just like a bigger receiver. And he would fit so well with like a Jordan Addison type rookie. If someone were to trade for him, let's say the Chicago Bears, and then they go out and get Jordan Addison, now they've got 3 really good receivers just like that. We'll see what they end up doing. Maybe a team like the Giants. Those are the 2 teams I'm looking at. Daron Payne, who just had a really good season, apparently. He's due a lot of money. Roy Robertson Harris, and then Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the Rams end up doing with Jalen Ramsey. I would think so my thought process with the Rams, something is going to come to a head here with Sean McVay doing this weird thing where he's like, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring. That's 2 years in a row now where he's done that. I think Sean McVay, after this next year, is going to be done for 10 years because he sees the TV deal that Tom Brady got, over $300 million. If you're Sean McVay, you've already got a Super Bowl. Why not go to the booth and work there for like 10 years and we get a Gruden situation where he gets rumored for jobs in the offseason, but he stays in the booth and then comes back to be a head coach. It's just crazy what Fox and CBS are giving Romo and Tom Brady, and Greg Olsen was making $10 million per year, but with someone like McVay would make way more than that. So I think Sean McVay is trying to, one last chance with this core for the Rams. Aaron Donald is on the verge of retirement. Jalen Ramsey, I would trade him before, he starts depreciating in value significantly. You can still get a first-round pick for him right now. Matt Stafford is a major question mark with the concussion and the neck injury and being older. It seems like this could be the last year for the Rams. I don't know where that leaves Cooper Kupp. I believe he signed a bigger extension recently. But yeah, Jalen Ramsey possibly next offseason could be getting traded for a first-round pick. And the Rams could be looking at someone like Drake May in the draft, depending on where they finish. They could make the playoffs next year, Matt Stafford. They've got a good roster. And I believe Aaron Donald is playing again. Just looking at some other news, we've got Aaron Jones restructuring a contract down to $11 million per year. I still don't know about paying running backs that much, at around $11 million, but Green Bay's in a spot. I was just thinking about Green Bay and kind of how unique their situation is. If you're a Packers fan, you are hoping and you are praying that Aaron Rodgers comes out of that darkness retreat and says, I'm going to continue playing, because if Aaron Rodgers retires, that loses you an extra first-round pick, an extra second-round pick, maybe multiple first-round picks. If Aaron Rodgers comes out and says he wants to play, it feels like a trade to the Vegas Raiders is the most likely scenario, and you'd probably be getting back the 7th overall pick. And then if you're the Packers, you're in a unique situation. Do you roll with Jordan Love, or do you package the 7th and 15th overall pick to move up inside the top 3, maybe trade with a team like Arizona, and now maybe you're looking at someone like Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, or Will Levis. So there's a lot of moving parts with Green Bay right now, but if you're a Packers fan, the most important thing by far is that Aaron Rodgers does not retire, so you can get something for him. And maybe Jordan Love is your quarterback. Although, Jordan Love has got to be pissed off at this point. I think Jordan Love said he wanted to be traded if Aaron Rodgers comes back because he's just not getting any playing time. And then Saquon Barkley apparently wants $14 million per year. The Giants are just in a bad position because they overinvested on a running back. A number 2 overall pick on Saquon, on any running back. We're not going to see that for the foreseeable future in the NFL. Bijan Robinson is a similar type prospect as Saquon, and I'm seeing mocks with Bijan Robinson, at 24 or 25 going late in the first round. It's just because the running back position has depreciated in value so much, but the Giants, I think, will probably do a 4-year deal with Saquon at around $14 million annually, and they'll franchise tag Daniel Jones, get him a receiver, maybe a Mike Evans or a DeAndre Hopkins, and then also draft a really good receiver or tight end, maybe a Zay Jones, maybe a Dalton Kincaid, to really see if Daniel Jones is a franchise quarterback. That's the thing. It's like Daniel Jones and Justin Fields, you got to give them something so we can see if they're actual franchise quarterbacks. And then this, there's just a number of different mock drafts here. Just looking at this, to me, everyone's trying to predict who is the team that trades up for number one. To me, it's either Houston or Indy. Those are the only two teams. Vegas, it would cost way too much to move from 7 to 1. Carolina, it would cost way too much to move from 9 to 1. It's either going to be Indianapolis if they fall in love with someone, moving from 4 to 1, or it's going to be Houston going from 2 to 1 and giving up probably an extra second and a third rounder to draft whatever quarterback they want. Right now, it looks like Bryce Young. Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, the main person. This is the second one I've seen that has Anthony Richardson going number 1 overall. Let's view this one and see what they think. So Anthony Richardson, he's an interesting prospect, but he's really raw. It's hard to see him going that high. You've got Bryce Young going at number 2. You've got Will Levis at 5. I think I looked at this one yesterday. Okay, yeah, I think I did look at this one yesterday. But, yeah, just some interesting stuff there. And then we do have some other rumors. How about Trey Lance clears up Titans rumor? Trey Lance to the Titans. I'm guessing Trey Lance will be the 49ers starting quarterback week 1. They've invested a number 3 overall pick into him. He really hasn't had much of a chance to lead anything. People were making the point about Trey Lance. He's played like 16 games since 2016 because it was a weird thing with North Dakota State during the pandemic year. They played 1 game during the pandemic, and Trey Lance was the quarterback. That's why it was so shocking that Shanahan actually drafted Trey Lance at number 3 overall, because he had played 1 game the previous year against that competition level, but he just fell in love with the traits. And Trey Lance, I loved Trey Lance in fantasy. I thought he was going to be great because he's a runner, kind of like Jalen Hurts was in his breakout year. Not this year, but the year before. He had a crazy breakout fantasy season because of his running ability. And Trey Lance, if I was San Francisco, he's got to be your quarterback. I think Brock Purdy, maybe this is a hot take, I think Brock Purdy had the best season of his career he'll ever have, and it was his rookie season. Brock Purdy and Mac Jones are very similar to where they have high floors but extremely low ceilings. I tried to warn people about Mac Jones. The issue is Mac Jones had a really good rookie year, especially for an NFL quarterback, because we know how hard the adjustment is, and everyone was like, oh my God, Mac Jones is amazing. If he's this good as a rookie, look at what he'll be in 3 or 4 years. And I was like, no, I was trying to explain to people, he's a guy that's going to have a really high floor, so he's going to look good early, but he's not going to go out and win an MVP, in my opinion. It's kind of similar to Brock Purdy, because now people think Brock Purdy is like a legit starter, when really he's in the perfect system. He's got superstar weapons all over the place, and now he's coming off a severe injury for a quarterback. So I think it's going to be very hard for Brock Purdy to do much. There's the Aaron Jones salary gets reduced to $11 million, and that's pretty much it on that. So that's kind of the latest updates in terms of NFL news that I've seen today. Guys, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.